Sydney Sweeney is back on our screens, and I don't think anybody's complaining about this. I was lucky enough to see a special preview screening of Immaculate, which is Sydney's new movie. So this is a horror movie, and it's easily my favourite of 2024 so far. It's full of gore, it's full of jump scares, and just genuinely tense and anxiety-inducing moments. And I think that is what makes a really good horror movie. And I'm just going to say it, I think this is one of Sydney's best roles so far. There is especially some scenes in the back half of this movie where Sydney really flexes her acting muscles. There is one scene, it's in the trailer, no spoilers in this review at all, but she's screaming. She's just screaming, like really loudly screaming. And that scene goes on for like 20-30 seconds of just her screaming, and she aced it. It was great. There was no music playing, there was nothing. It was just her screaming very loudly, and her facial expressions, just the way she sounded, the way she came across on screen, perfect. I think from start to finish, her character arc is really cool. And I have to say then, touching on the horror aspects, this is pretty scary. There's just something about religious movies that just really strike a nerve with me. I think when you tie religion in, it makes it a lot more scary, and this does it really well. There's some really lovely shots in this movie, some panning shots, wide shots, and I just think the way that it was shot added to that tension, because it's kind of creepy. Like, it's in a convent in Italy, and you know, that's kind of creepy to me. I don't know, it's just a very rundown old convent of nuns, and like there's priests there too, but I just think overall that religious aspect made this movie so much better, because it really is quite chilling. So the plot, without any spoilers, is that Sydney goes to Italy to take her vows as a nun, and essentially the movie is called Immaculate. If you know anything about religion, the Immaculate Conception is when Mary was pregnant with Jesus without actually having any fun times with any person. And the same thing happens to Sydney in this movie. One day she wakes up and she's pregnant, and the nuns in the convent see this as the coming of Christ again. But is that actually the way it goes? Is that actually what's happening? You will have to go and see it to find out. But I really highly recommend this movie. It's very good. Such a fun time. It's not even 90 minutes. It's like 1 hour and 28 minutes or something like that. Very fast, very snappy. Runtime is great. Things hit the ground running. And I think the first like 40% of this movie are teeing things up, but the last 60% is absolutely incredible. And the first half is too, but like, I think what happens in the third act especially is just bonkers. It's just so bonkers that it's so good. And the very final shot, the very final scene, is something that I think a lot of people will be talking about, and that is all I will say. Immaculate, it's out in Irish and UK cinemas on March 22nd. That is next Friday from the date of recording this right now. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10. That should be 3.5 stars, but I'm bumping it up to 4 stars because I actually think it deserves it. It's very fun, quick, snappy. Sydney gives a great performance. Religious themes make it very anxiety inducing and scary. Cinematography is great, sound design is great, soundtrack is very chilling as well. There's a lot of like religious symphonies in there, and that to me makes a really good horror movie.